Hey everybody, welcome back. We got a classic for you today as we power cycle through all my different systems. Over 100 computers in my collection. I'm actually discovering a few I didn't even realize I had. So over 100 systems. This one has a fingerprint scanner. Let's try it out, shall we? Did it work? Oh, it is. Yep, it still works. Yep, it works. So this would be a ThinkPad, but do you notice something different about this ThinkPad? Yeah, it doesn't have that big 4:3 aspect ratio screen. This was one of the first. In fact, I believe it is the first. Once Lenovo took over the IBM, although the branding still says IBM ThinkPad, they had a deal to keep that for a bit. They moved into the widescreen arena. This is a Z60m, not a T60. T60 still had the traditional ThinkPad trademarks. This is kind of a mix. They decided, let's do a widescreen. Let's retain the nub. Let's retain the, the multi-track kind of thing going on. And we'll put that in there. We'll use the Centrino. So the Centrino was a line of marketing. The idea was, Intel was saying, hey, look, we'll work with laptop manufacturers, and we'll design our laptops to run the most efficiently with the best sort of wireless connectivity to be really mobile systems. That was the idea behind this platform called Centrino. What it really meant was that it had an Intel processor, Intel chipset, and an Intel wireless. Those are the three sort of things it required. It didn't need graphics, didn't have to have Intel graphics, but it definitely had to have those three things. And between those three things, the idea was that you would hopefully be able to have a system that would be able to run as a mobile system with the best battery life and best connectivity. So that was sort of the pitch. It's marketing, let's be honest. But yeah, so that's sort of the story behind that. So this was, again, like I said, it's not a T60, it's a Z60. And the big difference being that it's changed a few of the aspects of the ThinkPad line. T60 was really aimed at the traditional business user. This was kind of thinking, multimedia. Let's try go multimedia. And as a result of multimedia, they actually didn't go with the Intel graphics because they were all terrible. They decided to go with the ATI Radeon graphics. We'll get a chance to see how that worked out for them as we progress through. So there you go. That's sort of the intro to that. I think this is quite a classic. It's definitely one of my oldest systems. It's 2005. Would have came with XP, so it's running XP. The graphics, or sorry, the drivers are all installed and they're available out there, so that's great. This is the keyboard. As you might notice, it has some interesting language aspects. I'm assuming, I'm not an expert in foreign languages. Is it Japanese? Is it Korean? I don't know. I've made the mistake of saying Chinese before. I doubt it's Chinese, but who knows? I don't know. There you go, guys. It has the traditional stuff, and because it's only a few keys that are affected, it's completely like US layout, traditional US layout. There's no issues with that, so I'm happy with that. A couple of nice big speakers. So again, going with that multimedia approach. They're aiming for that. Again, they have these nice little indicators at the top of the unit. Nice. Pointing out all the different connectors available. So I love that. That's a very 2005 thing. Let's take a look at some of those connectors, shall we? There's the vent. This is probably the biggest weakness of the system. I can hear the fan when it comes on. It's very loud, so I think the bearings are probably shot. Might take it apart, put some machinist oil in there, but at this point it's running, so I'm not going to worry about it. VGA, we got the modem and networking. So back when there's modems, sound, got a little fire wire there. So again, multimedia, and count that, 1 and 2 card slots. I don't see that too often. You got your switch for your, what do you call it? Your, my mind's blanking on me. Wireless. And I think it's broken. It goes back really easy, back and forth, so I don't know. Might not even be working. Might not be functional, but it does have wireless, so it's stuck to the on. Look at this, card slot. Look at that. Card slot, I didn't even notice that thing. Look at that. They're really advancing in their tech. And look at this. One of those plugs you could plug into your old TV. What do they call those things? Forget what they're called, but yeah. So again, multimedia focus. DVD, CDRW, couple of USB. Let's see if I can swing around to the back, because there is stuff on the back. Got a nice, huge, look at the size of that battery. Nice big battery. Aimed at those mobile people. And then again, another vent. Got the old barrel plug, 20 volt. And not to be forgotten, a nice little USB. That's great. So they got lots of, decent amount of USB, three USBs. And then, your standard stuff from the old days. And yeah, and they're proud to stick that Centrino marketing on there. So there you go, guys. That's the extent of the exterior. We can look at the top of it, maybe. Take a look at what it looked like. Oh yeah, it's still got the IBM. They were still floating on that reputation. But this is a break from the IBM. Definitely a far cry from the IBM, what would you say, traditional business line. So that's interesting. Okay, let's see what we can do here to get things rolling. I'll be back just momentarily. I'll open up all the things I need here and we'll get into this thing. Be back in a moment. Okay guys, so we're back and I got all the stuff open. I felt like you wouldn't want me sitting around opening all the stuff and watching me do it. That would be something I might have done in the past, but we're progressing, aren't we? All right, so let's take a look at this, the basic stuff that XP gives us, which is basically telling us it has an Intel Pentium, and we're running at 1.86, and it has 2 gigabytes of RAM. Unfortunately, this system is so old that a lot of my diagnostic programs can't even read the RAM and things like that, which is kind of interesting. So I'd have to pop open the bottom to see actually exactly what kind of RAM we're dealing with or anything else. So, but that's okay. That's the way it was back in 2005. This is a 2005 system. It's running at Pentium. I think it's like a 750. Yeah, there it is. A Pentium M750 processor from the Dothan line, which was a 90 nanometer process. So that's a pretty big processor. It's going to be kind of warm. It's got only a couple of instruction sets, so it was a very early on sort of thing. In the next iteration not iteration, but the next release of the T series, which would have been the T, they went with the 60, so T60 series of the more business related laptops, they decided to go with a dual core, newer CPU. This one's sort of still back one, kind of almost like a generation back. So it's a single core. But still not, you know, at the time I would have been quite happy to have this system. At the time I had a Sony that had sort of the same technology, and yeah, I loved it. It was one of these Centrino models, and it came in very handy for my business and activities at the time. So yeah, I used it lots for mobile activities. Let's get into the motherboard here. So this is the motherboard. Again, let's talk about that idea of the Centrino platform and their marketing. So it had to have a chipset, so Intel chipset, that's got the chipset. It's got to have two other things. It has to have this. There you go. It's got the Intel wireless, and it's got to have an Intel CPU. The idea was, oh, well, now you're going to have the best of all possible things, as all these things are going to work together and get you the best battery life and connectivity. It's got obviously updated BIOS to 2007, because it was a 2005 system, so that's great. Get some good, oh, look at this, graphics interface, X16. Wow. All right, let's take a look at that memory. DDR2 running dual, so we know there's two sticks, so one each, and it's running at 266. But unfortunately, when we go here, we can't get any information on the sticks. That wasn't a tech at the time. Let's take a look at those graphicals. It's got the old mobile Radeon X600, sporting a 256 megabytes of dedicated RAM. Wow, let's see what that can do for us, eh? All right, let's take a look at so we can close this out, I think, right? Close this out, we're good there. We looked at this, so all the drivers are good. I always like to check the display driver, and it's seeing the Radeon, so that's great, good to go. Here's the info about that Radeon. Not much more, we're not really getting much more from this little screen as what we're getting from the other. Sometimes it'll give us a breakdown of the memory. This just looks like it's dedicated memory used for, it's not sharing the memory, which is fine. Let's see how it does. And there's our dimensions. So this, again, like I mentioned, this is the widescreen, kind of like theater style screen, and it's running at 1680 by 1050, so massively big screen for its time period. You can get lots on here, so you could watch movies and stuff. That was the pitch, right? Let's do a summary. Oh, before we do a summary, let's take a note of, well, we can do that. So let's look at this first. So yeah, so this is the weak point of the system. Well, there's two things. The fan gets pretty loud, so I think the bearings are starting to wear out. I could probably put some machinist oil in it and a little shot of WD, just to kind of clean it out, and then the machinist oil to lube. But I haven't done that, but I could. But that would be my next step if this thing fails. The fan definitely is showing signs of wear and tear. The hard drive is showing signs of wear and tear. Caution. We got a C5 current pending sector count error or whatever, warning. So not necessarily a big deal. I've had, like I said, I've had hard drives like last for years and years despite those kinds of warnings, but it's just a kind of heads up that your hard drive's starting to go. Running good temperature though. Let's take a look at the wear on this thing. This is undoubtedly the original hard drive, and under 2 years is pretty darn good for a 2005 system. What is that, 20 years ago, right? It's crazy. It's got a SATA hard drive, which is nice, not one of those, what do they call those things, IDE type drive. I think I have one system that has an IDE drive or some version of that before they went SATA. And yeah, if it goes, it goes. If that hard drive goes, I have no replacements for them, and I will never spend money for something like that. So there you go. That's the condition of the hard drive. So let's get a summary of the information here, and we'll do a test. So here we go. Yeah, there you go. Nothing too exciting here. All the stuff we'd seen before. Look at all the graphic stuff going on there, because of the, you know, it has the plug for a TV. It has a, you know, a VGA out. So it was definitely aimed at the multimedia of the time, 2005 technology. And it's got that DVD player, so you can play your DVDs before, of course, Blu-ray and 4K and all that stuff came along. Yeah, and it's got a hard drive that was pretty decent for its time in terms of size. And it's got the standard SoundMax. Everybody had SoundMax, or is using SoundMax back then. I don't know, it's probably still that way. I'm not sure who's, I think there's a couple of companies out there, but not much. Kind of integrated sound, right? All right, so let's take a look. Let's give this a shot. Let's find out how the, let's see how the benchmark works out here. Well, it's doing that. I might as well just grab a coffee here. It is, what time, what is it? Oh, it's 1:27, really? Is it really that late? Thursday, November the 20th. Okay, there you go. Oops, I should have probably done that. Probably gonna affect the score. Well, we'll see. We'll see. We'll see. I don't think it'll affect that much. It's taking a while though, right? This is 2005. It's amazing how much of an improvement, say, from 2005 to say 2008 was in terms of technology. It really did make a difference. Okay, let's see. Oh, you could just see it. Oh my God. 5. This is gonna get a 0. That's brutal. Look at the slow motion. So marketing this thing as a multimedia device, I don't think so. Is it even gonna complete? It's gonna complete. Is it gonna give me something? Oh no, it's still going. Sometimes when they're that bad, they fail, like the whole benchmark dies. Just can't hack it. No, did it okay. So, you know, interestingly, 0 graphics, just 0, two frames per second. It's like a slideshow, really. But, yeah, even the transfer rates are terrible. But the CPU is really performing all right for what it is, and that RAM is doing okay at 2 gigabytes. So 200. I think we did a recent video on one of the other. Was it a ThinkPad that scored under 100 or under 200? So this is interesting. They really like stacked the deck on the RAM and CPU, and really shortchanged you on the graphics and the hardware, the transfer rates and stuff of the hard drive. So interesting configuration. I don't know. This seems like a very experimental ThinkPad for Lenovo as they took over the line. They definitely started to show you the direction of the future, which was, of course, as we know, the future was and is widescreen displays. Nobody does the 4:3 aspect ratio anymore. They just don't. It's just the way it is. Let's be honest about it. So yeah, interesting one in my collection. Like I say, it's one of the oldest systems I have. I think there's a couple that I have that are maybe in the same range, or maybe just slightly older. I'm not sure. This is definitely one of the more interesting models, just because of its history in terms of it being one of the first widescreen ThinkPads to come out. They certainly didn't make any effort to make it thin. Well, I don't know if they made a lot of them any thinner There it is. It's just the time period. But built to last. I mean, it's still around, right? Considering the mileage on this thing and how many years it's been around. Although, looking at the keyboard, not bad, right? Not bad. Can't complain about that. Not really worn out. A little wear here. As you can see where the person's wrist was, and their hand was rubbing against that. But otherwise, yeah, a little dirty here and there. Probably gotta brush and clean that out if I really wanted to. Love that it has a fingerprint reader that actually works, and works really well. And you saw it demoed. Very cool. Oh, and of course it has dedicated sound, and it has all the drivers that make the sound thing go up, which is cool. So I like that. Has the Think Vantage, which I don't know. I think it gets you into the BIOS. I think primarily that's what I used it for. I think it used to open up other stuff in the OS. I got a lot of the software too for it installed, but I'm going to demo that. Mostly, you know, diagnostic stuff and, you know, things like, a lot of the times the stuff that they included on these ThinkPads, I don't know. I think it was almost like, well, Windows has a version, but we got to include our version of how to connect to some network. And it's like, well, if you know Windows networking, you're good. The nice thing about it too, it does have Bluetooth. I love that. For this era of computer, great. This was not a period of time when they had webcams, but it did again have that little, let's see if we can turn it on here. I don't know. Can I? Sorry guys, I got to just do a little finger thing. There we go. You can see it. See the little light. That was that thing they did. And it shone down pretty good on the, it was for, I think it was for planes really. Like if you're, oh, and there's a little thing that comes on. Oh, you turned it off. Yeah, it was for planes, like business people on planes. Oh, it's like I'm on the red eye. Gotta finish my spreadsheet. I got a ton of time to kill. So you turn on the little light so you can see what you're typing, I guess. Different era. Now they backlight everything, of course. So, well, there you go, guys. That's probably too long a video, but you know, I like to power cycle these systems, and while I'm at it, I might as well give you guys a little history lesson. And yeah, thanks for tuning in. Like I say, it's Thursday in Vancouver, British Columbia, Canada. It is raining, or well, on the verge of raining, cloudy. You know, if you ever seen the X-Files and you saw how dreary and cold and rainy it was in those episodes, well, we got an X-Files day today. Very rainy, cold, wet. But the good thing is, you know, the salmon are running right now, so there's lots of water in the creeks. Gives them a chance to get upstream and perpetuate their existence. And yeah, I don't know. I don't mind. I like the fall. It's kind of a fun, well, not fun, but just a different season. We're getting toward the end of it, so most of the trees are bare. But you know, the leaves everywhere are kind of interesting, and just the color change, and yeah, it's just a different time. I enjoy it. So anyway, guys, that was your video for Thursday. I'm doing them pretty regularly because I'm power cycling them, and basically, you know, I'm updating them, changing up a few things. I'm changing on all my XP systems. I decided to do Office 2003. I thought about, hey, that's a more appropriate Office system for these XP systems. And I got a handful of 10 XP systems, I guess. So I'll run Windows 2003 on those with Works 8.5. And on my other systems, I'll run Office 2007 with Works 9 as the primary sort of productivity tools that I use, because I just know all those things really well. And on some of my systems, I'm going to have probably Windows sorry, Windows Office 2010. I got a few systems that are going to run that, because it's just good to have those around, because what it does is there's a few things that I have that are related to that Office system. So it's nice to kind of have like an actual functioning Office system that I can play around with that. So yeah, there was, they did a lot of work on Microsoft Office, and they actually supplemented Office with, well, independent companies with a lot of tools that you could use. So that would integrate with these Office suites, and I used to use them when I was a business consultant and a business analyst, and to do my reporting and recommendations and all that stuff. So and my findings, as the expression goes, for audits of systems. So there you go, guys. That is it. I'm actually going to say goodbye now. Talk to you in the next video. Bye.